What if I told you that without moving a single muscle you could gain more strength, protect your joints, and keep your body young even after 40? I know, it sounds strange, because all our lives we've been told that to gain muscle, improve strength, and stay young, we must train with exhausting routines, lift heavy weights, sweat until we are exhausted, and spend hours in the gym. But what almost nobody knows is that there is a type of training as powerful as it is hidden, a method in which you don't need to move, you don't have to do endless repetitions, and you don't even depend on weights. The key lies in maintaining muscle tension in a single position, in staying still while your muscles work internally and deeply. And the most surprising thing is that this technique activates muscle fibers that even many traditional exercises fail to stimulate. Today I'm going to reveal to you the 6 isometric exercises that every man over 40 should master, because if you ignore them, your body will feel it with more pain, loss of strength, and accelerated aging in the coming years. Isometric exercise 1. Side plank. The side plank is much more than just a simple core exercise. Unlike traditional crunches, which usually focus only on the rectus abdominis, this isometric variant intensely activates the internal and external obliques, fundamental muscles for trunk stability and spinal health. Studies published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research have shown that isometric exercises such as the side plank not only improve core strength, but also optimize muscle endurance and the ability to transfer strength to other movements, such as running, lifting weights, or practicing contact sports. In addition, being a low-impact exercise, it is a safe and effective option for men over 40 who want to protect their joints without giving up building a strong and functional physique. But the benefits of the side plank are not limited to strengthening the abdominal muscles. By maintaining the correct position, the glutes, spinal erectors, shoulders, and scapular girdle are also activated, creating a complete body stabilization workout. This global activation is essential to prevent back pain, improve posture, and reduce the risk of injuries, especially in the lumbar area, one of the most affected over the years. In fact, research from the National Institute of Health indicates that stability training through exercises such as the side plank can reduce chronic lower back pain episodes by up to 40%. In other words, this exercise not only helps you look more athletic but also prolongs your physical independence as you age. An interesting aspect of the side plank is that its effectiveness does not depend on movement, but on constant muscle contraction. This type of isometric contraction improves localized muscular endurance, increases tendon stiffness, and strengthens the nervous system's ability to recruit muscle fibers efficiently. This means that with just a few seconds of execution per day, you can generate profound adaptations in your body that translate into greater stability, balance, and functional strength. And the most attractive part is that it can be easily progressed, starting with knee support, then moving on to the classic variant with extended feet, and later adding load with dumbbells or raising one leg to increase the difficulty. Thus, the side plank becomes a silent but powerful ally that, if you integrate it into your routine, will make a difference in your health and performance over the next 10 years. Isometric exercise 2. Lotus pose. The lotus pose is much more than just a meditation position. It is an ancestral isometric exercise that has been studied by modern science for its benefits on the body and mind. By maintaining this posture for several minutes, the muscles of the back, abdomen, hips, and legs are constantly activated without the need to move. This static contraction, typical of isometric exercises, strengthens stabilizing muscles and improves body posture by aligning the spine. In fact, biomechanics research has shown that maintaining postures such as the lotus favors the deep activation of the transverse abdominis and the spinal erectors, key muscles in the prevention of lumbar pain and in the structural support of the body. In other words, although it may seem that you are still, your body works intensely to maintain balance and stability. But the benefits are not limited to the physical plane. The lotus pose has been the subject of multiple neuroscience studies that have found its impact on regulating the autonomic nervous system, promoting a state of calm and stress reduction. By adopting this position, the opening of the hips and the alignment of the spine facilitate deep diaphragmatic breathing, which in turn stimulates the vagus nerve, essential for activating the rest and digest response. This activation not only reduces cortisol levels, but also improves immune function, digestion, and emotional control. Studies published in neuropsychology journals have even shown that regular practice of meditative postures such as the lotus increases gray matter density in brain areas related to memory, self-regulation, and learning. In other words, maintaining this posture not only strengthens the body but literally transforms the brain. In addition, the lotus pose promotes deep joint mobility and flexibility, especially in the hips, knees, and ankles, which is crucial for the prevention of injuries and functional independence over the years. The opening of the hip in this posture counteracts the negative effects of spending too many hours sitting in chairs, which tends to shorten the hip flexors and weaken the glutes. In summary, this posture is a perfect example of how an isometric exercise can be a bridge between physical strength, mental health, and longevity, something that if ignored today, will probably be regretted in the future. Isometric exercise 3. Cat-cow. The isometric exercise known as cat-cow is a combination of movements and sustained contractions that comes from yoga, but applied isometrically, it becomes a powerful tool to improve stability, spinal mobility, and the overall health of the spine. Unlike traditional dynamic repetitions, in its isometric version the goal is to maintain the cat posture, spine arched upward, as if you wanted to bring the navel toward the sky, and the cow posture, spine lowered with the chest projected forward, during controlled time intervals. This type of static contraction strengthens the stabilizing muscles of the back, abdomen, and pelvis, while at the same time promoting postural alignment and reducing accumulated pressure on the intervertebral discs. According to studies in physical rehabilitation, isometric exercises that involve the spine help prevent early degeneration of the vertebrae and reduce the risk of chronic lower back pain. Beyond simple muscle contraction, the cat-cow exercise generates a significant impact on proprioception and neuromuscular mobility. By maintaining these postures, the central nervous system is forced to activate deep muscle fibers, such as the transverse abdominis, multifidus, and spinal erectors, which do not usually work efficiently in daily life. This activation helps improve motor control, which means that your body learns to respond more quickly and stably to sudden movements or unexpected loads. In fact, physiotherapists and trainers recommend it as a preventive exercise for people with long hours of sedentary behavior, since it combats stiffness in the lumbar and cervical areas, restoring the natural flexibility of the spine. In addition, by keeping controlled breathing during the exercise, the diaphragm is stimulated and better cellular oxygenation is promoted, which amplifies the capacity for muscle recovery. In terms of longevity and functional health, the isometric cat-cow represents a long-term investment. Sports medicine studies have shown that people who keep their spine flexible and strong after 40 significantly reduce the chances of suffering from herniated discs, sciatica, or mobility problems that limit quality of life in old age. Practicing this exercise regularly not only strengthens your internal corset, but also helps improve posture when standing, sitting, or even walking. This has a direct effect on the prevention of muscle pain associated with poor body alignment. In other words, dedicating a few minutes a day to holding the cat and cow postures can make the difference between a fragile and stiff spine or a strong, flexible structure capable of supporting you without pain for decades. If you ignore it today, it is very likely that in 10 years your body will complain with chronic discomfort about what you could now prevent with simple isometric contractions. Isometric exercise 4. Plank. The isometric plank is one of the most complete and effective exercises to strengthen the midsection of the body, also known as the core, which includes the abdominal, lumbar, gluteal, and oblique muscles. Unlike traditional crunches that involve repetitive movements, the plank is based on holding a static position, which generates a constant and sustained contraction in multiple muscle fibers at the same time. This type of isometric contraction increases muscular endurance and improves spinal stability. According to research published in the Journal of Strength, the plank activates more deep muscle fibers than crunches, making it a powerful tool not only for gaining strength but also for preventing back pain and injuries related to poor posture. In addition to its impact on core strength, the plank has a direct effect on the biomechanics and functionality of the human body. By maintaining the alignment of shoulders, hips, and feet, a tension is generated that forces stabilizing muscles to work, muscles that normally do not activate in dynamic exercises. These stabilizers play a crucial role in daily activities such as lifting objects, running, or even sitting for long hours. Practicing the plank consistently not only improves posture, but also corrects muscle imbalances that are often a consequence of sedentary lifestyles and the excessive use of electronic devices. In addition, by simultaneously engaging the arm muscles, pectorals, and quadriceps, the plank acts as a full-body exercise, efficient for those seeking optimal results in little time and without the need for equipment. On the physiological level, the plank also stimulates internal processes related to blood circulation, breathing, and neuromuscular control. By maintaining muscle tension for several seconds or minutes, blood flow to the activated fibers increases, which promotes oxygenation and the elimination of metabolic waste products. This not only enhances muscular endurance, but also generates beneficial adaptations for cardiovascular health. Additionally, the need to maintain deep and controlled breathing during the execution of the plank trains the parasympathetic nervous system, helping to reduce stress and improving concentration capacity. In the long term, incorporating this isometric exercise can be decisive in preserving mobility, preventing lower back problems, and building a functional body resistant to aging. In short, the plank is not just an aesthetic exercise, but a scientific pillar for health, strength, and longevity. Isometric Exercise 5. Tree Pose. The tree pose is an isometric exercise that combines balance, strength, and mental concentration, being considered one of the most effective postures to strengthen the connection between body and mind. This exercise involves keeping one leg firm as support while the other is placed on the inner thigh or opposite calf, generating a constant isometric contraction in the stabilizing muscles of the leg and hip. Various studies in biomechanics indicate that balance exercises such as the tree pose deeply stimulate the proprioceptive system, which allows the body to recognize its position in space and react efficiently to imbalances or sudden movements. Practicing this posture regularly not only strengthens muscles such as the glutes, quadriceps, and ankle stabilizers, but also reduces the risk of falls, improves body posture, and contributes to greater functional longevity. Beyond the physical benefits, the tree pose exerts a significant impact on the nervous system and on the ability to concentrate. Maintaining balance requires focusing attention on a fixed point and regulating breathing, which activates the parasympathetic nervous system, associated with calm and stress reduction. Neuroscience research has shown that practicing balance postures activates regions of the brain linked to working memory and sustained attention, which can translate into long-term cognitive improvements. This effect becomes especially relevant in older people, as it helps preserve brain function and combat cognitive decline. In addition, being an isometric exercise, the tree pose promotes sustained muscle contraction that increases endurance and neuromuscular efficiency without the need for repetitive movements, thus reducing the risk of joint injuries. Another fascinating aspect of the tree pose is its influence on emotional balance and hormonal regulation. By combining breath control with physical stability, the production of neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine, associated with well-being and motivation, is stimulated. Likewise, consciously maintaining this posture helps train mental resilience, as it forces the person to accept small imbalances and correct them without frustration, which translates into greater emotional control in daily life. From an endocrine point of view, regular practice of balance postures has been associated with better regulation of cortisol, the stress hormone, which contributes to a prolonged state of calm. Altogether, the tree pose is not just a physical exercise, but a powerful tool to strengthen muscles, sharpen the mind, and balance emotions, becoming an essential habit for those seeking integral development of their health and well-being. When we talk about physical training after the age of 40, the importance of isometric strength as a preventive tool against aging is rarely brought to the table. And yet, more and more studies support that this type of exercise not only generates deep muscular adaptations, but also improves health parameters that directly impact quality of life. The static contraction produced in a plank, a lotus pose, or a balance variant such as the tree activates both slow and fast-twitch muscle fibers, which strengthens both endurance and power. Unlike dynamic training, where the joints endure repetitive friction, isometric exercises protect joint structures while reinforcing tendons and ligaments. Recent research published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine has shown that this type of work reduces blood pressure in older adults and contributes to cardiovascular health, a benefit that was traditionally attributed only to aerobic training. In other words, by staying still, you are also taking care of your heart. But the impact of isometric exercises is not limited to the physical. There is an equally powerful aspect: their influence on neuroplasticity and mental control. By maintaining a sustained contraction, the brain is forced to efficiently recruit muscle fibers, creating new neural connections and improving communication between the central nervous system and the muscles. This not only optimizes sports performance, but also contributes to the prevention of cognitive decline with age. An article in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience reports that body practices involving static concentration, such as isometric yoga, increase gray matter density in areas related to memory, learning, and emotional self-regulation. In addition, the controlled breathing that accompanies these postures stimulates the vagus nerve, responsible for regulating processes as vital as digestion, blood pressure, and the stress response. As a result, every second in an isometric posture not only strengthens muscles, but also trains the mind to better handle pressure and daily demands. Finally, we cannot ignore the value of these exercises as an investment in functional longevity. After 40, collagen levels decline, tendons lose elasticity, and bone density begins to decrease naturally. Isometric exercises have proven to be an effective strategy to counteract these losses. They improve bone mineralization by stimulating static load on the skeleton and increase tendon stiffness, which translates into safer joints and a body more resistant to the passage of time. Furthermore, since they require no equipment, they can be performed anywhere and in short periods of time, eliminating the barrier of lack of time, so common in adult life. In other words, we are talking about training with an unbeatable cost-benefit ratio, little time, zero impact on joints, and a cumulative effect that protects your body and mind for the years to come. Integrating them into your routine is not just a recommendation, it is a smart strategy to keep you strong, agile, and young even after 40. The path to a stronger body, a more focused mind, and a more balanced life is not achieved with magic formulas, but with simple and consistent practices such as the tree pose. This exercise, although it seems simple, integrates the best of movement science, stability, muscle strength, neuromotor control, and mental regulation. It doesn't matter your age or fitness level, what matters is consistency, because every minute you invest in strengthening your balance is one more step toward better health and greater self-confidence. Now that you know the benefits and the science behind this powerful posture, the next step is in your hands. I invite you to integrate it into your daily routine, even if it's just a few minutes a day, and observe how your body and mind begin to transform. With discipline and patience, you will notice improvements in your posture, your concentration, and your strength from the very core of your being. If you want more science-backed exercises that help you improve your physique and health after 40, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell. Your body and your health will thank you. Thank you for watching this video, and see you soon.